I have what I would consider to be a sizable amount of products here. I've tested quite a few products. I own quite a few products. Some here, some over there, some over there. But I thought it would be interesting to maybe make a video about some of my favorites that I have used or tried so far. This will be kind of interesting because it's actually really difficult for me to narrow some of these down to what I would say would be my favorites. But my favorites will realistically be products that will be my go-to. Products which will be my first thought, the first product that comes to mind when I go to tackle a job. So this might upset a few people. Now when I say it might upset a few people, what I mean by that is I'm going to maybe pick a product that you don't like, or maybe I'm going to pick a product that you think there's something way better than that on the market. Why would you pick this? What I'm picking here is what I have and what I've used, and I still have a bunch of products which I haven't used yet. So that's why it's going to maybe upset a few people. I'm going to like something you don't. I'm going to maybe not pick something you think I should, and so on and so on. That's okay, that's normal. Everyone has their own opinion, and this is simply my opinion for my favorites that I've used so far that I own particularly. So let's get started. So wheel cleaners. Wheels would be the first job I would do on the car if I'm totally cleaning and detailing a car. Wheel cleaners, what I'm looking for from a wheel cleaner ideally is dilutability. I want a good dilutable product. Basically, I want something which is going to last me a good amount of time. However, there are some exceptions, so I'll go through some of my favorites here. So first up, Valet Pro Bilberry. This is one of the first dedicated wheel cleaner products I bought that was not a direct sprayable product, you know, the kind you'll just buy in a bottle and spray onto the car. This is a dilutable product, and this one's very interesting. So you can dilute it anywhere. You can use it neat if you've got a really bad job, really bad wheels, and it can be diluted anywhere up to 1 to 10, which is great. So a litre bottle like this will actually get you quite a lot of uses out of it. And I've got a bottle of it sitting over there pre-diluted at 10 to 1 for a light wheel cleaner. It's a really, really good wheel cleaner. It doesn't contain any iron fallout abilities or any iron fallout chemicals in it. Some people want that, some people don't. To be honest, I could take it or leave it, but for the cost effectiveness, you won't find one which is dilutable, which is also iron fallout removal in there as well. So keep that in mind. So this is a good price, and it makes it better value for money because of the dilution ratio. If you're looking for something, again, equally dilutable and smells nice and is multi-use, then I really love Garage Therapy's One Wheel Shampoo. This stuff is great. It smells fantastic. It smells like a shampoo, to be honest. Oh, really gorgeous. It is very dilutable. So in a 4 or 5 gallon bucket, all you need is 20 to 30 mil. So if you've got half of that in there, you get away with 10 mil in the bucket. And it's different because it's a shampoo. So if you put all your tools in there and you pick up the shampoo from there, it's a very slick shampoo, so it's safer on your wheels, especially if you've got those piano black glossy wheels, for example. It helps to minimize the possibility of scratching on your wheels and so on. It makes your wheel cleaning a little bit safer. You also can fill some in one of these pump sprayers with a foaming nozzle on it, and you can actually spray it like a snow foam onto your wheels, and therefore you are pre-treating the wheels. So let's say that's what's in that thing right now. So I can pump some of that up, spray it on the wheel, let it soak, then a small amount of this into a bucket with all of my tools, and I can go ahead and wash the car. So it's getting a pre-treatment, and then it's getting the proper treatment, getting in behind the tires, the spokes and so on. And it's a really, really good stuff. It's a solid quality product. I really love it. And again, because it's so dilutable, it makes it better value for money. Now, if I'm looking for something with just huge amounts of punch and I want that iron fallout removal ability as well, if I've got really trashed wheels to tackle and they just look like hell and I really want something to just throw in there and do the job hard, then it's going to be Built Hamber Auto Wheel. This product is very, very effective. Its iron fallout removal ability is excellent. Its wheel cleaning ability is excellent. This is what I used for really trashed wheels. It stinks because of the iron fallout chemicals which are in it, but it's such an effective product. The sprayer is okay, but and also because it's pre-made in this bottle, you don't dilute it at all, and that means that it's not quite as good value for money. So realistically, I keep this just for the worst jobs, and everything else I'll use my other wheel cleaners for. But this is a very, very powerful job. When I need a big heavy tool, that's what I reach for. Alright, so now it's time to pre-treat the car. Before getting onto the contact wash, what do you use? You could use traffic film removers, you could use snow foams. I am just a snow foam guy. I prefer snow foam. Snow foam is enjoyable, it's fun. Why wouldn't you want it? I know some people have their doubts about them, some people think they don't clean very well, and I think there are many which actually do clean quite well nowadays. It's just more enjoyable. At the end of the day, if I'm going to be tackling a car, I want to enjoy myself. So I'll talk about 3 that I really like. One which I've used for a very long time is Built Hamber's Auto Foam. Now this one is a very good value for money product. 5 litres costs somewhere around £20–22. I think actually I've got this a little bit less. I've still got loads left. It's a good dilution ratio on it. It is, I mean, you can have up to 1:100 ratio, which is crazy. But it's a very, very good, powerful cleaner. You don't get much of a thick foam with this. I've used it many times before and it does look more runny. The advantages of that are that it will not sit on your driveway for quite so long compared to some of the other thicker ones. But it's a very, very good cleaner. So it does effectively pre-clean your car, and the foam will sit on the car and you can just let it dwell and get on with other jobs, or go around it with a detailing brush and help to scrub out, you know, around your windows, your wing mirrors, your door handles, panel gaps, indicators, all these things. So it is a foam, it's just not a super thick foam, but it's a very effective cleaner, and that's why I like it, and it's good value for money. If I want a thick foam for a bit of fun, and one which smells quite nice and is just, yeah, it's more enjoyable. I'm just looking for a light cleaning job, I just like a thick foam, then I quite enjoy Autoglim's Polar Blast. Polar Blast, I've had this for quite some time. I tested it way back. For any of the products that I mentioned, if I've got a video about them, I'll put the links down in the description below so you guys can go ahead and check them out. But that was part of the Polar range video. And I like it, it's a good snow foam, it's a thick snow foam. It's not the best value for money because it only comes in this 2.5 litre bottle as opposed to 5 litres. So you do spend a little bit more on it. It is more expensive than the Built Hamber, but not hugely so. If you can pick up a deal in Halfords, you might get it at a good price. But it's nice and thick. I just enjoy it. It's a nice thick snow foam. Ideally, I might use this because it's thicker over the Built Hamber, simply because if I'm putting down a citrus pre-wash or something, then I might put this over the top. Being thicker, it dwells longer, it will sit on the car for longer, and it will stop the citrus pre-wash from drying out. That's another time that I might want to reach for this. I do have a bunch of other snow foams though. They all have their own purposes, but these are just the ones I want to reach for particular jobs. And another one, which is just a lot of fun, and I haven't made a video about this, but I just enjoyed it. It was a giggle, and I haven't put it on video yet or anything. I didn't catch it on camera. I got carried away just having a laugh with it. And that's Alien Magic Gamma Snow Foam, and this here, if you can see that there, it's a green snow foam, and that's exactly what it is. The snow foam, you can see it in the bottle there, it's all green. There's a bubble, whoop, pop. Yeah, whoop. It is very, very green. So when you spray it onto the car, you get green foam, which I love. It really gets the neighbors' curtains twitching. You know, people are going to be asking, what the hell are you putting on your car? Fun, just a load of fun. They do say that it's an effective pre-wash, so, and it's also biodegradable, which is nice, but it's just for fun, I think, for the show of it. It's a good giggle. I've used this already, and it was a good laugh and good to take pictures of and get it on Instagram and things like that, although I haven't yet. I will, I'll do it so you guys can see it at some point. But again, favorite for the fun aspect of it. So you've pre-washed your car, you've rinsed it off, now it's time for the contact wash. What would I reach for in the contact wash when I'm actually going to be physically touching the paint? I've got a few options here for different purposes again. If it's something, if I've got a really bad, filthy, dirty car, or something with a ceramic coating on it that needs some punch, then I will reach for Garage Therapy's Zero Decon Shampoo. Love this stuff. It's a very powerful product. I know it doesn't look like I've used much, but I've actually got a 5-litre bottle down there, and I just fill this one up for convenience so I can stick that one out of the way. It's high alkaline, so it has real strength, and you have to be very careful with the dilution ratios. Do not make it any stronger than it recommends here, because it is a very powerful product. They state 50 to 65 ml of shampoo into a 4 or 5 gallon bucket of water. That's quite a good ratio still for such a massive amount of water, so you could dial that back. And the other nice thing about this is you can use it in a snow foam lance. 50 ml of this shampoo to 400 ml of water makes an effective, powerful pre-treatment as well. It's still powerful then, so spray it on. What this is to do is to clean, to cleanse, to help remove old waxes and sealants on the car. If you've got a ceramic coating, it's to help clean out the pores of the ceramic coating to allow it to repel water and dirt for longer. So it's a really good high strength product that can be used in multiple ways. There's also other ways that you can dilute this down and use it as a glass cleaner. I think it's something like 1 to 20. Don't quote me on that, but you can make a few different dilutions of this to do different jobs. You can make it an effective wheel cleaner as well. So it's a very good multi-purpose product, but it still has slickness in it, and that's what's very important, the slickness for safe washing. They're all about safe washing. If it's a maintenance wash for a car which already has some protection products on it, some waxes or sealants, and I don't want to remove them, I don't want to negatively impact them, I still want to wash the car safely, then I will use Garage Therapy's One Maintenance Shampoo. So this one, like I say, a maintenance shampoo means it will not, it's not high alkaline, it's pH neutral, it will not attack those waxes and sealants. It's still a very good detergent in here. It smells as good as a wheel cleaner. It's got a different scent, but oh, it smells like one of those shampoos where you have a woman underneath a waterfall, you know, and just leaves covering stuff. So yeah, great shampoo. I love it. It's slick, it's got some suds. All the suds are not that important, it's about the slickness, but I think they've hit a really good balance of it. And again, excellent dilution ratios, 20 to 30 ml in a 4 or 5 gallon bucket. So excellent. This bottle will last you a long time. Really love that stuff. Then I have a couple of shampoos which are a little bit out there, a little bit different. One, I had a question about this. Somebody asked me how it is that I'm able to remove old waxes and sealants, or even new ones. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I apply many products which have water repelling abilities in the form of waxes or sealants onto the car, and then I have to remove them to be able to try the water repellency of another product. How do I get rid of that? And that is a shampoo that I use. It's generally two. What I'll do is I will wash it first with Garage Therapy's Zero Decon Shampoo, and that's to help break down as much as possible. But for anything else that's left that's a bit more stubborn, especially when it comes to freshly applied products, I'll actually use this. This is Meguiar's Wash Plus, or Wash Plus Plus, because there's a plus and a plus, I don't know. Anyway, this is really different because it contains what they say, micro polishing agents. What that basically means is it's got abrasives in here. So it's an abrasive shampoo. I haven't really spoken about it on the channel directly. I've always spoken around it and said I've used an abrasive shampoo. This is the one I use, and it's excellent. The idea is you wash your panel, you make sure it's as clean as you possibly can. Then I would grab a microfiber wash mitt as opposed to some of the chenille ones or the fluffy ones. I'll grab a microfiber one which is flat, and then you literally pop the end here and spread it, just pour it in a squiggle. Actually, as it shows you on the picture there, you pour it in a squiggle on your wash mitt, and then work it in small overlapping circles like a polish. And the abrasives within this will help to actually scrub off the old waxes and sealants, some of the new waxes and sealants, any greases, things like that. Anything, even very fine marks or something that's really stubborn dirt on there, can help to remove it. So that's what I use for that. You don't use much of it. You don't pour it into a bucket, though you can if you want to, and it makes an effective shampoo. But I use it just a few squirts onto a mitt once or twice over the bonnet or whatever panel I'm testing, and it is very effective at stripping off that old protection. Very good stuff. And then finally, I'm not sure if I would call this a shampoo, but I mean it's all about cleaning the bodywork and something that's a bit different. This is Optimum No Rinse, and it has its place. Optimum No Rinse is a rinseless cleaner. So I have a bucket filled with this stuff. It's a very good dilution ratio, 256:1 is the dilution ratio. And what I'll do is I'll spray some of this onto a dry panel if it's only lightly dusty. Then grab a microfiber, dunk it into the ONR solution, wring it out until it's nearly dry, till it's maybe only just barely dripping, and use that to wipe over the panels. Half a panel, flip over the towel, another half a panel. And the idea is that once you have cleaned your panel, all you then need to do is just dry it off. There's no rinsing, there's no loads of buckets of shampoo, there's no loads of suds everywhere. You can literally spritz the panel with some of this as a dilution, then go over it with your microfibers, pick up the dirt. Once you've used it for over a panel, you've used your towel, put it into another bucket to wash, grab another towel. So it's really, what I would say for the UK, this is a summer product. For the days that it's only lightly dusty, it's not very dirty at all. You just want to give it a quick cleanse. It's an alternative to a waterless wash product where you spray it onto the dry panels and then wipe it over. This one, there's a bit more liquid in it. It's a bit more wet. And for me, I think I would prefer that. Whenever I'm going to do something like that, I would rather have it more wet and then just be able to buff off, dry it off afterwards. Very, very effective product. You can also make up a dilution where it can be an effective clay lubricant. You can make up another dilution where it's a detailing spray, which is basically just a cleansing detailing spray, so it won't leave anything behind, but it will help you to pick up anything that's left over after the wash, for example. So very flexible product. It's something that I'm really getting into, especially as the warmer days, the drier weather is coming in as well. That's something I've been really interested in trying. Alright, so you've cleaned your car and perhaps now you're looking to decontaminate it before applying some fresh protection or something. So decontamination products, there are not many which I would think, oh, that's definitely my favorite, but there are a few. These are just the ones that I would think about first. For tar removal, because I will do tar removal first on the panel, that will be Auto Smart TARDIS. This stuff is cheap to buy. I think I picked this up at a car show for £16. It's a big thing. I think this is 5 litres actually, but it's excellent. Some people hate it, I don't know why, but I love it. It's a great tar remover. It stinks, doesn't matter. Stick some into a spray bottle, spray it onto the panel, leave it for 5 minutes, watch all the little tar start to run. Then I'll squirt some onto a cloth and just wipe it over and pick up whatever's left. It's a very effective tar remover. For iron fallout, there are so many iron fallout removers out there. They're all much of a muchness, to be honest. But the one that I reach for most often for the really bad jobs is Built Hamber Corosol. This is a very heavy duty iron fallout remover. Again, you just buy it as is, you cannot dilute it or anything like that. It stinks. It stinks differently to some of the other ones. The others have a more eggy smell, and this one is not quite eggy, it's something different. It's more chemically than eggy. But Built Hamber are all about rust removal. In fact, they were all about corrosion way before they got into car care. So I really trust them when it comes to anything to do with rust. And that's essentially what an iron fallout remover is. For those of you who don't know, it's basically about dissolving the rust that forms around the iron fallout particles that land on your car. They'll be unprotected metal. They'll land on your car, they'll sit there for a while, they'll get wet, they'll oxidize, they'll form rust, iron oxide. This dissolves that very effectively, and then you pressure rinse it off and it's gone. Knocks it off. Basically frees it up from the paint. Very, very powerful product. Then for anything else, once you've finished your chemical decontamination, anything else that's left on the paint is going to have to be removed via some form of abrasive. Ideally a clay bar, a clay mitt, a clay block, a clay sponge, however you want to go about it. For me personally, I've really switched to a mitt, specifically this one. This is the G3 Pro Deep Clean Clay Mitt. I've got a video about this one. Being a mitt, it makes it easier to use than having to hold on to a small piece of clay, because generally you don't hold on to the whole clay bar, you tear off a bit. Also, that small bit is small compared to the clay mitt area, much larger, so you can cover a bigger area in less time. It is very quick and easy to use. It is cleanable, so once you've worked a panel, you can rinse this off in a bucket or with your hose or your pressure washer, whatever you want to do, and it frees up that surface from any of the contaminants you've picked up and allows it to be worked again. Whereas a clay bar, once you've worked a panel, generally you need to fold it in on itself, find a clean section, and there's only so many times you can do that. Plus there's the safety aspect. If you drop this, it hits the ground, you can rinse it off, carry on working with it. If you drop a clay bar, get rid of it, it's dead. I don't care how much precaution you take, even if you put, someone said on a live stream recently, put cardboard down underneath and around your working area. Yeah, but if you're standing on that cardboard, there could be some dirt or dust or grit or something that's landed on it from your shoes or from your person, and that clay bar is going to pick that up, you know. So realistically, this is the safer option, it's a faster option, and G3 Pro claim that this will last 5 times longer than a standard clay mitt. I think it's excellent. I think it's really, really worthwhile having. Clay bars certainly do have their place. There are going to be areas that the clay mitt cannot get into, for example alloy wheels, if you want to get in about those. So they certainly still do have their place, and there's going to be some jobs I will use a clay bar for, but generally speaking I will reach for this first. So after you've clayed your car, realistically what you should then be doing is polishing your car, because clay is abrasive. Clay will add marks to your car. It doesn't matter what kind of lubricant you might use and how much of it you use, it's still abrasive. There's still going to be something added there in the form of micro marring or scratching and swirling, whatever it is. There's going to be something there. It might be very, very fine, you might not notice it just now, but realistically the best thing to do is to polish. So you've got a couple of options. You can go with an all-in-one type of polish, working it by hand, or you can grab a machine polisher and use some dedicated abrasive polishes to remove some of those marks as well. Or perhaps you want to just attack that paint a bit more. You've already got some scratches and swirls on there anyway, and you want to try and correct them, try and remove them completely. So I've got some options of products here. For my car, for a black car, a very quick and easy to use product by hand. I really enjoyed when I reviewed this, I really liked it. This is Turtle Wax Jet Black Spray Polish. It's the first time I'd ever used a spray polish, and it was very interesting. It did work really well actually, very effectively. By hand, I used a microfiber applicator pad, sprayed this on. It's black in color, so there's some pigmentation there designed to help fill in. So what it's got is microfine abrasive powders in there. That's to help remove some of your oxidation and maybe the very finest of swirls. The pigmented platelets in this are to fill in some of those scratches and swirls, and then it contains a hybrid wax, so it will help to protect afterwards. It did work very well actually, and because it's a spray and it's a very fine mist, you don't need much of it. You go through this, I would say, a lot less than you do with the paste in a bottle version of this, the liquid version, not the sprayable version. So it's actually very good value for money. I picked that up for about £8, and if you've got a black car, it's a very interesting product. I'm going to be testing one later which is not for black cars, but I will cover that in a later video. I haven't tried it yet, but that was useful. If you're looking for something which is not particularly color dependent, you're just looking for an all-in-one general polish, one that can be used by hand, then Auto Glim Super Resin Polish. Everybody knows about this product, everybody talks about it, everybody says good things about it, to be honest. I've heard very few people say they didn't like this or didn't get on well with it. I've used this by hand and with a machine polisher in the past, there's a video about that. But this is, again, abrasive, it's got resin fillers, and it's got wax. Very simple, straightforward and easy to use. Yes, it's a liquid product, so you go through it a bit more, but it can be used by hand, it can be used by machine if you have some experience with that, and it does give very good results. I'm genuinely pleased with that product. I still come back to it. It's very nice. Now if you want dedicated abrasives, you've clayed your car, but your car was polished recently, so it's only the finest of marks, and you're not looking to add any fillers, you're not looking to add any wax to it, then maybe you just want some dedicated abrasives. For the ultra fine jobs, I've got Meguiar's M205. This is a very, very fine abrasive. I use this with a soft pad on a machine polisher, and it just brings surfaces up to a nice gloss without huge amounts of cut. It's more a gloss enhancer, it's more of a refiner. For something that you need a little bit more cut with a slightly firmer pad, Meguiar's Ultimate Compound is slightly heavier cutting, and that will help to remove more of your scratches and swirl marks on your paint and really bring it out to a nice clarity. So the M205 for barely anything, and this for slightly worse. If you've got a more heavily swirled car, then this will bring it up nicely. If you're looking for something with more cut, with some serious cut but also great refinement, you see, generally if you go for a heavier abrasive product, then what will normally happen is you'll be left with a little bit of a haze on your paint because the abrasive was so heavy. So what you want to do is then refine it out afterwards. You could do that with two separate polishes, but what I got here, this was recommended to me from a detailer. It was actually Steve down at Absolute Wax and Absolute Valeting. This is Shaw Concepts S20 Black, and what this has is a very high amount of cut, but it's a diminishing abrasive. So the Meguiar's, they are just micro abrasives. They're just lots of very small abrasives, they don't change. So it means that they'll cut, but they stay nice and fine, so they don't give you much of that haze. Here, the abrasives, they start large. If you were to zoom into them, you know, microscopically, you'd see they would start out as large balls of abrasive. And as you continue to work them on the panel with your machine polisher, they will start to break down smaller and smaller. They'll break up and break down a bit like a gobstopper, you know, in your mouth, and as you keep sucking it, it gets smaller and smaller. Well, as it gets worked on the paint, it gets smaller and smaller. So it starts out as a heavy abrasive to begin with, and then it breaks down to a very fine abrasive at the end. So it refines itself. It's a very effective product. If you've got really badly damaged paint, you're really looking for one product to cut really well and refine, it's an excellent product. It really is absolutely fantastic. Now once you've polished your car, ideally you want to then add some protection on top of it. It doesn't matter if you've used an all-in-one or a dedicated abrasive polish. I would say get some good protection on there, and everyone has their preferences. Some people prefer waxes, some sealants, some coatings. I don't have any coatings per se here today, or at least none that I've tried. So I'm going to go with waxes and then sealants. So waxes, I've actually gone with 4 different formats of wax, and it was hard to narrow it down to favorites of each type. So let's go with, first of all, paste wax. Something that I've used recently and really love to use because it's so buttery smooth to apply, and yet also easy buttery smooth to remove, and gives great shine and gloss and water repellency as well, is Detailed Online's Sublime Show Wax. And this is a Montan wax as opposed to some others which are Carnauba. But this one is very soft kind of looking. It's relatively soft to use, smells really nice, and is just a real pleasure to use. And it really, for a show wax, it would be great if you got a show car. This kind of wax is excellent. It's a 10 to 20 minute cure time depending on the environmentals, you know, temperature, humidity, daylight, all these kind of things, if you try not to use it in the sun obviously. But it's very, very easy to use and just very, very nice shine and gloss, and the water repelling abilities are fantastic. Being a show wax, I'm expecting that it won't last quite as long as some other waxes, but it's genuinely, I'm going with my favorite products, and this is one of my favorite paste waxes to use. Now, if you prefer liquid waxes, I've got a choice of a spray or a liquid. Spray wax wise, I'm going with Detailed Online again. This is their Fast Wax. It's the T1 grade Carnauba spray wax, and it's a very, very easy to use product. Spray on, wipe over, immediately buff off. There's no curing time, there's no waiting for it. It does say that it has Carnauba wax in it. It's a Carnauba based spray wax with added gloss enhancers, and it works. It's very easy to use, it gives good shine and gloss and water repellency as well. It's a really nice spray wax. If you prefer a liquid wax, I don't have many liquid waxes, but the one that I've come to use and really love using, this came in the Sam's Detailing sample box, which is up there somewhere. But this is their, this is their ceramic wax. So this is a little liquid wax here. This was worth having the sample box alone, to be honest. But getting all the extra bits and pieces, I've got a bunch of samplers there. I've got a video about the sample kit if you want to go and check it out. There's also a discount code if you want to use my code and you'll support the channel. But this is a genuinely lovely wax to use. You use very little amount of it, which is why this wax should last a good amount of time. But a very small amount goes a long way, and it's very super smooth and easy to apply, and just as easy to buff off. And it's a ceramic wax, which means protection can last 8 to 10 months is what they say on the label here. It really is an excellent product. Plus I love the little pop-up, I said this in a video before, but I love the little pop-up dispenser. So you just tap it out onto your pad there, your applicator. It's a really lovely liquid wax. Now, another option is wet waxes. Wet waxes are those that you apply to a wet car and then work onto the paint. What you're doing is you're picking up water as well as applying the wax across the car, and then you buff it off. And what you've done is you've added some protection whilst drying your car. So you're not letting the car develop water spots, you're not letting it dry out, and you're adding protection as you go. And for that, the one I reach for so far is the Turtle Wax Hybrid Solutions Ceramic Wet Wax. Generally speaking, this is meant to be a topper maintenance product for their ceramic spray coating and for their polish, but this works perfectly well without any of those applied anyway. So if you've just got an unprotected panel, wet it, spray some of this on, a couple of sprays per panel, wipe over with one microfiber, you're spreading the wax, then grab a dry one, buff it back off. You have dried your panel quicker and you have applied a ceramic wax to it as well. So it's a very quick and easy maintenance product to use. Excellent, excellent product. Now, some of you prefer sealants as opposed to waxes, and I am in that mood sometimes. Sometimes I'll want to use a wax. Not often, to be fair. Sometimes I just prefer to spray a product on, wipe it over, buff it off, I'm done, that's it, thanks very much. So I've got a few products here which are for, again, slightly different purposes. One sealant I would reach for most of the time, to be perfectly honest, is Turtle Wax's Hybrid Sealant Hydrophobic Wax. It's the worst name in the world, it's a huge long name, but it's a hybrid product, so it contains synthetic sealants and carnauba wax in there. It's a very, very effective product. It just works so quickly and easily. It's a very misted nozzle on here, so a small amount goes a long way, and it really does spread very easily, and you get excellent protection with it. You get excellent water beading, it lasts a long time, and it's cheap. I paid £8 for this. Some people I've heard paying only about £4 or £5 for this. If you can get it for that price, buy it, absolutely buy it. It's a great product. Another product which is good value for money, again I've heard some people picking it up for a great price, is Carplan's #1 Super Gloss. It doesn't really state sealant anywhere on the product, which is very interesting. It doesn't state that it's a protection, it just says gloss. But it is a protective product because it does say a treatment lasts 12 months. I haven't ever got that out of it before, but it's an easy to use product, which means that you can use it regularly. It goes on all of your surfaces. It does mention paint, glass, rubber, lights, trim, chrome. It basically goes on everything. I used it a few times and I've really enjoyed using it. It's a very, very straightforward and easy to use sealant. It can also be used as a drying aid if your car is wet. Simply spray it on while it's wet, buff it dry. It will speed up the drying process and it will add protection as well. So it's like a spray wax, it's like one of those wet waxes, but it's a sealant instead. It's actually very, very good. And I've heard some people paying as little as about £2.50 for a bottle of this in supermarkets in the reduced section, you know, in the clearance section. If you can get it for that kind of price, you can't go wrong with it. It's a good product. Now, if you prefer wet application products, which are maybe a little bit easier, instead of spraying it on and wiping it on, what about spray on and rinse off? Wet coat products are quite popular nowadays, and I think practically every manufacturer has one. And I think for the balance of value for money and effectiveness, I really like Turtle Wax's Dry and Shine Rinse Wax. And it really is as simple as spray it onto a wet panel and then rinse it off again. I spray it on, leave it about 10 seconds, rinse it off with your pressure washer again, and you will have protection where there was no protection before. Again, realistically, it's designed to be a topper for something, oops, like this one. So this would be your base coat of protection, and this would be your topper after every other wash, for example, and you'll keep topping up that abilities. Again, this can be used as a protective product on its own. I use this quite regularly on wheels because it's so misted, it gets onto the wheels really nicely, and it adds protection. It lasts a decent amount of time. It's also cheap. Again, I paid £8 for that, but I've heard people paying less. So value for money for a ready-to-use product, I don't think that can be beaten, and that's certainly the one I reach for as a wet coat product. Now let's say you washed your car and protected it last week. You went through all of this and you added a wax or a sealant on top. Now you're looking for something to just help maintain the shine and the gloss of your car. That's when you would want to use a detailing spray. So detailing sprays, this is actually the hardest thing for me to pick out a favorite. I don't have any one favorite because I have different products, different detailing sprays for different jobs, depending on the mood I'm in. It was actually really hard. This is the biggest selection of products that I own. I own more detailing sprays than anything else. So for specific jobs, for particular jobs, I would say if you've got water spots on your car and you want to get rid of them, then Koch Chemie FSE. I haven't done a video about this, but I used it recently. It's awesome. My mate Dave over at the Detailing of the Beast channel, I'll leave a link down in the description below, he tested this. He stress tested it. He put it really through the ringer, and it was fantastic at being able to remove water spots. It's not the most amazing detailing spray ever, so realistically I would use this for removing the water spots and then use a proper detailing spray afterwards to give me shine and gloss, because this one from my testing didn't give me loads of shine and gloss. But Dave's video is excellent, go and check that out. But this is a really good product for those water spot issues. For cleansing ability of your paint, if you've gone around the car and you've missed it, there's a smudge somewhere or something, you're looking for something which is a short-term protection product as well. So something, I would call this a true detailing spray, is Garage Therapy's 2 Quick Detailer. I love this stuff. I genuinely love this stuff. I really do. I need to buy some more. I'm gonna buy 5 litres of it or something. It smells amazing. It's got a fantastic trigger sprayer on it, and it is a blend of car shampoo and nano sealant in here. This is the kind of product you would want to use if you are someone who washes and takes care of your car regularly, because the protection that's in this, the nano sealant, only lasts 1 to 2 weeks. It's a short-term protection product, but what it does do is it's got some cleaning ability, so it will cleanse the paint whilst also laying down that nano sealant, which means you're going to get some great water repellency. It adds amazing slickness to the paint. The slickness is fantastic. You can use it on multiple surfaces. I used it on plastics, it was good. I used it on glass, it was great. It really is a good cleaner and protector all in one. So if you are someone who takes care of your car regularly, it's awesome. You can also use it as a drying aid. I really genuinely love this product. If I'm looking for, I'm struggling between these two, because if you're looking for a gloss enhancer, which still adds loads of slickness and repellency, and they're both nice to use, I can't pick between the two because they are so good. I've got Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer there, and Bouncer's Wax Done and Dusted SI Edition. Now, they're both fantastic. They're both fantastic in their own right. I really struggle to pick between them. The Rapid Detailer is so fast and easy to use. It really is a rapid detailer. It just goes on, it comes off, it leaves great shine and slickness and gloss and everything, and it smells divine. The Done and Dusted SI is an incredible gloss enhancer with protection as well. It is maybe not quite as easy to use, but I mean, I'd be splitting hairs between them. But I think this one is just a tiny bit slicker and easier to use when you're applying it and buffing it compared to this one. But there's hardly anything in it. That's purely my opinion. But the gloss and shine that I got from this when I used it was awesome, and the slickness is just fabulous. So they're both brilliant products, both absolutely fantastic. And whichever one I want to reach for, whichever one's in front of the other, I'll grab it. But that's the only way I can toss up between which one I'm going to use. But it doesn't matter. If I grab one, I'm not going to feel bad about not grabbing the other, because they're both as good as each other. Now, if water beading is your thing, if you are a beadaholic, then you've probably heard of this product. I made a video about it. This is Sonax Extreme Brilliant Shine Detailer, commonly known as BSD. This is not the easiest detailing spray to work. It is a little bit sticky, it's a little bit grabby, but that's because it's thicker. You can see it in the bottle there, and if I shake it, it sticks, it clings to the bottle, and that is why it's a bit more grabby and sticky. But that thickness, whatever's in there, means that when beads of water sit on your car, they don't sit like a little hump, they sit like a globe, they sit like a little ball perched on top of your paint. If you like that kind of beading, this is incredible. What I've also heard from a lot of people is that they will dilute this 50-50 with water and use it that way, and you'll still get some great protection. You also can use it that way as a drying aid too. I've never tried it any of those ways before, but it's on my list of things to do. But it's an incredible beading product. It's great value for money as well. This is a 750ml bottle. I paid £7.50 for it, and it's a great product. And finally, something which I used very recently, and I was really quite blown away with it actually. I was really impressed. This is D-Max Carnauba quick detailer here, sorry. This one is, it's really weird. It kind of looks a bit more like a spray wax, because when you work it onto the panel, when I worked it on a video recently on my car, the door was kind of faded, and spraying this onto the door, wiping it over, suddenly there was shine, there was gloss, there was depth of colour like I'd never seen before. So it seems to have a filling ability, and it really did do a great job. I'll leave the video down in the description below. It's my last video, I think, before this one possibly. And it's just a great product. I mean, it's so easy to use, but it was really all about that depth and shine and gloss, and it still had water repelling ability because it's got Carnauba wax in it. I really like that. That was an awesome product. Now the next job is dressings. What kind of dressings are you going to apply? I've got some interior and exterior dressings here, a couple of different choices for different jobs. For the interior, I really like this one. This is Detailed Online's natural dressing. It seems water-based. It gives a nice depth to the plastics and the rubbers and so on. On your dashboard, it's really nice. It's not too shiny. It smells fantastic, so you're getting some nice scent in the car. It's a very easy to use product. A little goes a long way, and I genuinely enjoyed it. If you're looking for exterior, then I would go for something which is a little bit harder wearing than water-based dressings. So I've got a couple of choices here. One is Infinity Wax Rubber Wax, or as it's now known, Rubber and Plastic Wax. Or Plastic and Rubber Wax, I can't remember. It's the same product, they've just rebranded it slightly. But obviously, like I said, it's a wax, it's a pot of wax. You can see there, and it's a slightly soft wax actually. Smells really nice. It's like a, I don't know, blueberry, raspberry, cranberry, I don't know, something like that. I'm probably wrong, it's probably chicken and I just can't tell the difference. But it's genuinely lovely to use. It's a wax, which means a little goes a long way. It's very spreadable. It has a restorative effect. If you've got old plastics on your car which are faded, they're going grey instead of black. This helps to restore them and that black look to them. Because it's a wax, it also contains abilities to repel water. So on your rubbers and on your plastics around the car, it will make them look deeper and sharper, and it will repel the water from them, giving them some protection. I think I possibly read, and I can't remember, it's been a while, but I possibly read it's got some SiO2 in here as well. Very interesting. But it's an excellent product. If you like a sort of natural look to your tires, for example, then this stuff is really nice. It's a bit more finicky to apply. Get a microfiber applicator to apply it to your tires, but it genuinely does give a nice natural look to your tires. It's nice and dark, it's not glossy or shiny, but again, the wax will repel water, keeping your tire looking nicer for longer. It's a genuinely lovely product. I really enjoy it, and because it's a wax and a little goes a long way, that pot lasts a long time. Now this one, if you prefer shinier tires and shinier plastics and so on, then this is a silicone based product. This is Valeting Products Super Slick. That's them there. So this is Super Slick, silicone based, Sprayable, as you can see, I've used quite a bit because I enjoy it. If you like the wet look tires, if you like that really glossy, shiny looking tires, then this is what this will give you. It can also be used on the plastics and the rubber too. Just be careful because it's a sprayable product, it's a very liquid product. It's possible you can lose control of it, so use a microfiber applicator. But again, if you over apply it and you get it onto your glass or your plastics, sorry, not your plastics, your glass or your paint or something, it wipes off very, very quickly and easily. So if you prefer that glossier, wetter look, then that's the one to go for. And if you prefer something more neutral, then the Infinity Wax. And the final job I would do on the car is to go over the glass. This would be the last thing I would do. Clean up the glass, make it look nice, shiny, get rid of fingerprints and any watermarks on them, anything else at all. It's the last thing. Now, for years, I have only ever bought this one glass cleaner because I enjoy it so much. It's such a good glass cleaner. This is Stoner's Invisible Glass. It's a very simple and straightforward glass cleaner. It's not sudsy, it's not soapy. When you spray it on, there's no foam, no bubbles, nothing like that. It's like you're spraying water on there. But it cleans very effectively. It's tint safe, so if you've got tinted windows, it works great on those too. It's just a very, very effective glass cleaner, and it's one I've been using for a long time. However, only one glass cleaner has come up recently that has made me think differently. And this was also in the Sam's Detailing sample box, and this is their glass cleaner. Simply says glass cleaner. This is a gel formula, which is slightly different. So when you spray the Stoners or most other glass cleaners, they will run down the glass. Unless you spray them onto a towel first, for example. This one, you can spray it onto the glass, and being a gel, it will stay there, which is great. So it doesn't run off, it doesn't run away, it just goes exactly where you want it. When you wipe it over, it cleans very nicely. It seems to flash off behind you and leaves no streaks or smears. It's a very, very effective glass cleaner, and I like that gel ability. Really, really excellent product. Now, I'm sure there could be some products in categories that I haven't touched so far, you know, things like all-purpose cleaners and stuff, but I don't find there to be many huge differences with the ones that I own, and in some situations I only own one of some of the categories of products. So that's why I haven't really covered those, but I hope this has given you a bit of an insight into what I like. Maybe you like them too. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. This is all information correct as of the beginning of May 2020, so this could all change. I do have a bunch of products here which I haven't got around to testing yet, and when I do test them, I might then think to myself, that's my new favorite. I can't test absolutely everything right now. I can't give you a comprehensive view. I can just tell you what's my favorite so far. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you agree with any of these? Do you disagree with any of these? I'd love to hear from you and know what your kind of opinions are on all of these. Anyway, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next video uploads. In the meantime, I've been Specky. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.